mindful of all of our folks who are on time, we're going to go ahead and get things started. My name is Bobby Lynn Kekik, and I am the Director of New Student Programs. It's so wonderful to be with you today. I just wanted to extend a welcome to our final Falcon live chat for this summer, entitled Supporting Your Student Beyond Orientation. Today, we'll be sharing with you information about the endless opportunities for engagement, connection, and involvement at Bentley. Throughout our presentation, you're welcome to submit questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will cover approximately 20 to 30 minutes of content and then open it up to your questions. We are recording this session, so you'll be able to access this presentation at a later date. And please note, if you are watching this as a recording, please email us directly with any questions that you may have. And lastly, we are currently working on the final preparations for the fall. So if there are any questions we're unable to answer today, please reach out to us via email and we will work to get those answers for you. And we always encourage anyone that we're connecting with to review our Back2Bentley website, as we're consistently updating that over the next few weeks. So we're going to go ahead and get things started. So I'd like to introduce my new student programs team, and then we'll turn it over to student programs and engagement.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Jillian. I am a program coordinator here in New Student Programs. I apologize that my camera is not working very well today, but I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I turn over to some of our student coordinators in the Office of New Student Programs.
Awesome, thanks, Jill. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an incoming junior at Bentley and one of the student coordinators working with the orientation team to help build the fall program.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Mill. I'm another one of the student coordinators in the New Student Programs office going into my junior year at Bentley. And I do apologize, as similar to Jill, I am having camera troubles today too, but looking forward to seeing you all on Moving Day.
Hello all, my name is Ed McBride. I'm also a student coordinator. I'm a junior accountancy student here at Bentley and looking forward to our presentation tonight.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Riley Fickett. I am one of the assistant directors in student programs and engagement, and I'm excited to be chatting with y'all tonight about some of the engagement opportunities your students can take part in after they wrap up orientation.
And good evening, everybody. My name is Nicole Shabbat-Weifrich. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Engagement here at Bentley, as well as the Director of Student Programs and Engagement, and have the wonderful privilege of working closely with Riley, as well as the New Student Programs team, in providing and making sure that your students have a wonderful engagement experience in their time here on campus. So we are very excited to be here with you tonight to share a little bit about that engagement experience and make sure that you have the opportunity not only to hear from Riley and I in terms of the departmental programming that we do, but also some of our student leaders and what they've been able to get passionately involved in on campus as well. So Jill, if we can just move forward a little bit, we already covered our intro, which is fantastic. And then we can go right into a little bit of our agenda for tonight. So we will be covering kind of our early programming for the semester, our traditional Back2Bentley Weekend, talking through some additional student leadership and engagement opportunities, our Fraternity and Sorority Life program on campus. Riley will walk us through our CampusGroups software, which will really be a core and central part of your students' engagement experience. And then we'll talk a little bit about Bentley Plus, which is a co-curricular program that we are very excited to launch in its full model this year. And then we'll certainly have time, as BL mentioned, for questions for everyone at the end. So to start, Riley will walk us through our Back2Bentley Weekend that we use to kick off our semester.
All right, yes. So Back2Bentley Weekend is honestly one of my favorite traditions that we do on campus. But really, this is a weekend full of programming for all of our students to really kind of be welcomed back into the community, have opportunities for some social engagement, and really connect with our student organizations and our team in student programs and engagement as well. This weekend happens the weekend right after the first week of class. So your students will move in, have orientation, do classes, and then we'll have Back2Bentley Weekend. And We do have some traditional programs that Student Programs and Engagement puts on for the community, as well as a few student organization events that happen as well. But some of our traditional events I wanted to kind of highlight for y'all are on Thursday. We typically do a meet and greet. Our team in Student Programs and Engagement really want to get out there and meet the students and kind of introduce ourselves in terms of the things that we do and we can provide for the students that are on campus. In the past, we've done a little coffee and donuts between classes so students can come by and take a quick class break and grab a coffee and a donut and really just ask any questions that they have about how to get involved or how to, be more engaged with our department. And we also definitely hype up the rest of the weekend of programming, giving out schedules and all of those kinds of things. So that's the Thursday of Back to Bentley Weekend. Typically on Fridays, we do our activities fair, which I will dive deeper into in a minute, but that's a really great opportunity for students to really kind of connect to our student organizations. On Saturday, we typically do our Back to Bentley concert. So we have a fall concert, which is so fantastic. And you can see on the right side there, that is a photo of our last in-person Back to Bentley concert from fall 2019, held in the arena, the Bentley Arena, and it was so much fun. And so this is one of the biggest events that we have kicking off the academic year. And our lovely campus activities board is the one who manages that event. And it's so great to start the year off with a bang like that. And then on Sunday, to kind of wrap up the weekend, we typically do Summerfest, which is a great opportunity for students to just come and hang out kind of in a more relaxed environment. Typically, we've done some food trucks, we've done, some campfires and s'mores. We'll do like t-shirt giveaways, just things like that, where students can really kind of come together with maybe some new friends that they've made over the course of the last week and really just relax before heading back into a full week of classes. So if your students are interested in getting engaged right off the bat, I think Back to Bentley Weekend is a great opportunity to do that. And definitely make sure that they're taking a look at the Campus Groups event page, which I'll talk about a little bit later, to see all of the events that are happening during that first weekend. And the activities fair, I really want to highlight because this is a really great opportunity for new students and maybe students who are looking to get more involved to engage with our student organizations. So this is an event where most of our 129 recognized student organizations, if not all of them, will come together and host a table on our green space, which is right at the center of campus, to kind of tell the students a little bit more about themselves, give them an opportunity to, sign up for meetings and really kind of get to know the org and see if that's something that they want to be involved in during their time at Bentley. This is a really, really popular event. We do have quite a few people that come out to this event, and the student orgs are so excited to meet the new students that are coming to campus and engage with them and hopefully get them interested in being involved with their organization. We will have organizations that are academically focused, arts and recreation organizations, some community engagement organizations, our fraternity and sorority life orgs will be present there as well as some orgs that are focused on identity and advocacy. Not highlighted on this slide, but we will have athletics present at Activities Fair as well, and they'll bring the club sports with them as well. So if your students are interested in getting involved in club sports, they'll be present there as well. Knowing that we're kind of in a weird time right now, we are going to be offering an in-person activities fair as well as a virtual activities fair. So if your student maybe is a little bit uncomfortable being around a big crowd of people, we do have a virtual activities fair option, which we will be, communicating with the students so they know how to access that. It's a similar situation where all of the orgs will have a virtual booth and students can, get in contact virtually with the leaders of that organization, ask any questions, and virtually join the organization so they can get more information about the first few meetings or events. So the in-person event is going to be Friday, September 10th from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. And the virtual event will actually happen throughout the weekend. So anytime your student has a question about one of the orgs, they can leave them a message right on the virtual booth, and a student org leader will come back and answer that question for your student. So That's activities fair.
Great. So we wanted to walk a little bit through our fraternity and sorority life community. About 20% of our undergraduate students are active members in what we call our FSL community on campus. We have a number of fraternities and sororities in our community. As a university, we do a deferred recruitment process for formal recruitment. So first-year students are ineligible to go through recruitment until their second semester, which is a great opportunity to give them time to get their feet under them on campus, to assess what they're interested in, how the community culture is working for them. Is fraternity and sorority life something that they would be interested in? So that deferred recruitment typically takes place at the end of January or early February in their second semester on campus, and then gives them a chance to learn about the chapters and learn about if this is something that they're interested in. We have a very active and involved student leadership and chapter group on campus. We have a strategic plan that has been written with students at the center of it, that this over the next few years is focusing on fostering healthy community culture, as well as providing a transformative personal experience. We're really looking at our community values and university values, specifically around identity and racial justice and equity and inclusion, and how that can be infused and more central to our experience for our fraternities and sororities on campus. So really excited about the strategic work coming out of this community of staff and students working in collaboration. We also have a fraternity and sorority standards program where our chapters are held to certain standards and try to achieve certain standards within their chapter, and that relates to event planning, community building, philanthropy, and community service, which are huge parts of our chapter's cultures, and also how they're contributing academically and succeeding academically. So that standards program is really our guidepost for our students of how to achieve and be successful. And we see such, a high level of our student leaders in our Greek organizations contributing in other walks of life on campus, whether that be in student employment as student athletes, succeeding in the classroom, really using these opportunities to network into professional positions after Bentley or for internships. So this is a vibrant part of our student community and something that many students are interested in when they come in, and they will have access at the activities fair, as Riley mentioned, to be able to engage with members of those chapters early on and then consider going through the recruitment process in that second semester. Wanted to highlight a few of our biggest traditions on campus, and I'm sure that there are many, many more. We have hundreds and hundreds of student planned events a year. As Riley mentioned, with our 129 student organizations, they are consistently active in planning small and large scale programs. Pictured on the right here, the bottom one is Summerfest, which is a program Riley referenced earlier, where we have this big festival to kick off the start of the year. The top photo is our Black United Body Fashion Show, which does happen in our arena every year, with the exception of our semesters where we have been in different COVID event protocols. But we are excited to be looking at in-person events again for this year, and while making sure we're doing that safely, allowing our students to return a little bit to normal. So we do have active theater productions, concerts, welcome back weekends to start each semester. Some of our biggest events include our Super Bingo event sponsored by Campus Activities Board, our comedy shows, Greek Week, Relay for Life, and certainly so much more. What I'd love to do at this point is just pause and invite our students back onto the screen and have them share a little bit from their own student leadership experiences and favorite campus traditions of what they're involved in and what they love to do on campus. Rachel, why don't you kick us off?
Sure, yeah. So looking at the screen here, I am heavily involved in the Campus Activities Board, which is one of Bentley's largest student-run programming event planning organizations. And we lead the way in planning, like Nicole said, the Bentley Spring Day, the Back2Bentley concert, the Cab Comedy Show, Super Bingo. And not only is it really awesome to be able to go to these events as a student, I think I'm really biased, but it's really cool to be able to play a part in actually planning these for yourself and for your peers. So if you're involved in planning the Back2Bentley concert, you can have a say in who the artist might be and have a little bit of a role in kind of deciding, what's the theme going to be? What do we want to do for decorations and stuff like that? But I think overall at Bentley, a big thing is that everything is so accessible. The organization meetings happen after classes at around like 9:15 when no one has prior commitments other than student organization meetings. So it's never really a case that you're not going to be able to get involved in that way. There's always an opportunity for people to connect. And I have yet to go to in-person spring events, and I'm super excited to be able to go to things like the BOB fashion show. So there's always something that there is to offer for people to go and connect with friends, and then also see what other organizations on campus are doing. It's a super interconnected group of organizations, and you get to, if you're on a leadership committee for one, then you tend to meet the other leaders of the other organizations through different meetings that you're in. So it's a really interconnected web where you get to meet a lot of really great people. But that's just a little slice of my experience. I'll pass it on to Aiden if he wants to share something.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Happy to jump in. And on here is not student government. It's one of the organizations that I was a member on this past year. And something I'd like to add, in addition to echoing everything that Rachel has said, is that a lot of these engagement opportunities can also double as valuable experience when you're presenting yourself as a student at an internship level. So I think a lot of students view these engagement opportunities kind of, they do it if they want to, but I would also encourage your student to really branch out and try to find something that they like. And even in the end of it, this is going to be something that's going to benefit in their development as a professional. And then later on, as they enter their professional career and begin reaching out to find internships. And I'll pass it on to Katie next.
Thanks, Aiden.
Thank you, Aiden. So yeah, I would 100% agree with everything that Rachel and Aiden have said so far. I personally am a member of the Relay for Life e-board and have yet to experience an in-person Relay for Life, but I've had the privilege of helping to run the past 2 virtual events via social media, and even those have been such a blast. We also do Paint the Campus Purple, which is like our kickoff event, and it's always so much fun to like see students around campus like really engaging and really interested in everything that's going on and all these different opportunities, even if it's maybe not something that's directly related to their interests. So that's always something fun to see, and it's always fun to come together, like Rachel said, with those other leaders to sort of collaborate with all of everyone's different talents there. I'm also a member of SSB, and that's our Students for Sustainability Club on campus. I've really enjoyed the community connection pieces we do with that, whether it be working at the farm down the street or going to do beach cleanups or learning about sustainable businesses in the Boston area. So there really is just so much to offer for everyone's different interests.
Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you to all of you for adding kind of your perspective. I think what stands out to me to hear all of you talk about kind of not being in person for some of these big events, but the amount of work that you've put into over the past couple of years of doing these events virtually and still, committing and bringing that same passion to virtual events. So for folks on the call, I think it's really important to know that our Bentley students are so passionate, and even through the past couple of years of unknowns and having to do things a different way, they're still so connected to their organizations. So we're just so happy to bring students back to campus and make sure that we provide these opportunities for you to get involved. I've also seen a couple questions in the chat about the concert artist and who that artist is. So we go through a really rigorous process with contracts, and we are unable yet to release the concert artist because we are not through that, and CAB will be going ahead and planning for that artist reveal. That's always a really important part of their concert production and reveal and advertising. So we will be excited to release that, but Rachel would not forgive me if I if I got ahead of the concert reveal. So thank you for those questions, and students will be hearing that as we get much closer to the start of the year.
Great. So I'm going to be talking to y'all about Campus Groups, which is our fantastic student organization management platform and a great way for your students to engage virtually before they get to campus, and a great tool while they're on campus as well. So really, it's a one-stop shop for student organizations and events. So when your student logs on to Campus Groups, they're going to be able to see everything that's going on when it comes to student organizations. So this is a really great resource for them. So they can virtually connect with our 129 student orgs, and they can also connect with the departments within student affairs as well, including our department, new student programs. So if they have a question about anything related to anything regarding our departments, we're happy to engage with their students virtually out there. There is a calendar of events, which I'll show you in a little bit here, that has everything that the student organizations are putting on campus, and they can reserve spots to attend. They can purchase tickets if it's a ticketed event, things along those lines, so they can kind of see everything right there and RSVP. They can interact with their peers based on shared interests. So if you look on the bottom right corner, you can see my little profile there. But you can see pretty much every student's profile. They can set it up to however comfortable they are to setting up their profile. But as an example here, you are able to list some of your interests, just your personal interests. And if you have a shared interest with another user, it will highlight it in that light blue color. So your student can look at other students on this platform and say, oh my gosh, we're both interested in board games. We should chat about board games. And it's a great way to connect with other students that you haven't had the opportunity to meet in classes or through your involvement opportunities. And students are able to log in as soon as they get their Bentley credentials. So as soon as they have their Bentley email and password, they can go to bentley.campusgroups.com and start perusing around just by logging in with their Bentley credentials. So as soon as they have that, encourage your student to log on and take a look at what's on Campus Groups, because it will be a really great opportunity for them to really learn what's available on campus. So I'm going to take you through a couple screenshots of what it looks like. So when you do log into your campus groups, this is going to be the first thing that you see here. So you can see it's pretty much a dashboard of all upcoming events right there at the top. And then once you join an organization, it will populate into the My Group section down there at the bottom. So they can just easily click on to whichever organization that they want to quickly access to. So that's really neat. There's a bunch of different options here on the menu, but those are the two big things. This is what it looks like when you log right in. And then we do have the full list of our student organizations on Campus Groups. So at the top there, you have the groups button. If they click on that, it will bring them to this page, and they can scroll through the different organization types, or we call them clusters, and they can kind of take a look at each organization. So encourage them to kind of log on and take a look through what they might be interested in, and it might help them out at activities fair too. They say, oh my gosh, there's a law club on campus. I'm interested in learning more about that. I'm going to go talk to them at activities fair. I think that's a really great thing for them to do ahead of them. And then this is one of my favorite uses of Campus Groups is the events calendar. So this is where all of our student organization events are going to be listed. So as student orgs are preparing their events, they're going to post it on Campus Groups, and it's all going to live right here. And family members can actually look at this as well. So you do not need to have a Bentley login to look at this calendar of events. You might have a limited view based on the permissions set by the organization, but for the most part, you can see pretty much all the events that are going on campus. So if you're curious throughout the year, all you have to do is go to bentley.campusgroups.com/events, and you can take a look through the calendar there. And the cool thing about this is that you can really kind of filter down what you're looking for in an event. So for example, if you're looking for an event that is put on by an identity and advocacy group, you can kind of make that filter. Or if you're looking for a speaker event, you can click it, I just want to see speaker events. There's even a filter where you can say, I only want to see events that are serving food, and they will show you that as well. So it's a really cool tool for students to utilize when they're maybe sitting in their rooms like, I don't really know what to do this weekend. Maybe I should take a look at the events calendar and see what's going on campus. There is a Campus Groups mobile app. So if your student is more prone to looking at apps on their phone, they can download the Campus Groups mobile app instead of logging on to bentley.campusgroups.com. All they have to do is download the Campus Groups app in their app store, and then they search for Bentley University and sign in through that portal. So they can definitely access all of this stuff on their phone as well, if that's what they prefer to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Riley. So I'm going to shift a little bit and talk about our Student Center which we really think about as our heart of campus. It's our comfortable home away from home for students when they are in between classes. This is the hub for so much of our student dining. We have lounge spaces, event spaces, as well as meeting spaces and workspaces for our students, and a number of departments across the university as well. So we are so lucky to get to manage this building. It is always so bright, vibrant, full of energy, full of students. We are open for 132 hours per week. That is for all students to access. So for every day, we are open from about 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, all the way until 1 a.m. or later, depending on the night of the week. So it really is a space that students can access at almost any time. We do have 4 dining venues in the building. Our primary dining hall, excuse me, which is the 921. We also have our Harry's Pub, which I'll talk a little bit about as a great dining and programming space and engagement space for students. We do have a Dunkin' Donuts in the building, and this fall will be a new retail option for us called Natural, which will be a little bit more of a smoothie based and acai bowls, that type of thing, that will be in on the 3rd floor of our student center. So that will be a new option for students that we're really, really excited about. A number of staff actually had a tasting in that space yesterday, and I think it was very well received. So students will be really excited to see that. On the next slide, what I will show you is just a little bit of all of these things that we have in our space. So as I mentioned, we have a number of lounge spaces. We have our Gender and Sexuality Student Programs Lounge. We have our Spiritual Life Center, where we do have some religious services in our building, as well as resource rooms for our spiritual life organizations, students able to do meditation, etc. We also have a cultural lounge that's connected to our multicultural center and our Center for International Students and Scholars. Harry's Pub, I mentioned, we did a grand reopening of that in the fall of 2019. So we got our grand reopening in right before COVID. We're so excited to be reopening that space. That will be open 7 nights a week. There is a late night eating option in that space. But we do also have, once your students are of age, a bar and a pub that functions in that space on campus as well. We do a lot of programs in there, bingos and trivias, karaoke's, events that are really popular with our students. So that is a great location to switch up meal options for students, but also to engage and attend events. Our living room on campus is adjacent to our cafe. It has a fireplace, it has pool tables, ping pong tables. So it really is trying to recreate that sense of your living room at home, where you come to lounge and sit, maybe do some work, maybe grab a bite to eat, play some games, and that really goes right out onto our patio, where we have some outdoor living space for our students as well. We have meeting and event spaces throughout the building, some specific to student organizations, some for personal student reservation to work on homework, group work, study space, etc. So a lot of group and individual meeting rooms. And then here is a list as well of the different offices and resources that are in the building. I'll call special attention to our business center, which is on our 3rd floor of the student center. And this is where we have printers for students that are connected to their library printing accounts. We do have a poster printer for our student organizations. This is where they check out our gaming equipment. We sell movie tickets out of that space. It also serves as a great resource for information. So an information desk where students can come and ask a question about where a service might be, or something on campus. And our students that work at the business center are go-to resources for folks who need help. So all of these other offices exist in the student center, including student programs and engagement and new student programs as well. And we are just happy that we get to kind of be in community with the students in the space that they spend a lot of their time in.
All right, so we're gonna talk you through Bentley Plus a little bit. We have a quick little video to show you. So Jill, whenever you're ready, feel free to hit play.
Bentley Plus, a program that lets you take charge and develop the right skill sets for your future success. Guided by our advisors, you'll discover both your strengths and areas to improve on. You'll be able to select from a list of 11 competencies that top employers have named essential to your success. We'll show you how the activities you're already involved in can help you grow. And we'll connect you with other campus opportunities to better refine your skill sets. With Bentley Plus, you'll learn how to be strategic when developing competencies, both inside and outside the classroom, and how to communicate those marketable skills so that future employers take notice. Get the most out of your Bentley experience. Get certified with Bentley Plus.
All right, so Bentley Plus is a great way for students to kind of connect the dots between the engagement that they're already taking part in and transferring that to job interviews, internship interviews, like life after Bentley, which is what we are preparing your students for. Aiden spoke to this a little bit as well. But this is a newer program. We just went through our pilot year this year, and so we're very excited to roll it out to everybody for this academic year. So I'm going to take you a little bit through what the program is like at a glance. So during orientation or your first advising session, when you're involved in this program, you're going to select the competencies that you're going to focus on, and the Bentley Plus advisor will match those competencies with engagement opportunities for the student to participate in. And in your next advising session, you'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into the competencies that you're working through. And then in your next one after that, you'll be reflecting on your experiences and preparing how you would deliver those experiences and connecting those competencies in a way that will help you be more marketable as a candidate, whether that's in an internship, a job opportunity, or something else beyond Bentley. And then at the end of the year, you'll have a nice little end of year celebration as well. So we have a couple of student testimonies here on the screen. I'll just read through a couple of those here. So the first one is, when I was a freshman, I signed up for everything and was expecting to go into my sophomore year feeling really overwhelmed with my schedule. Bentley Plus helped me focus in and be more strategic with my time. It reminded me it's quality over quantity. So really speaking to the fact that there's a lot of opportunities to be engaged here on campus, whether that is with one of our 130 organizations, whether that's with our dozens and dozens and dozens of event opportunities each month. This really kind of helps you narrow your focus into what it is that you want to develop, and really kind of flex those muscles and figure out ways to really sell yourself and your engagement after the fact as well. In the top right corner, it says, I'm a junior, so it was good for me to look at what I've done and what skills I wanted to develop more before my senior year job search. So maybe your student is in a position where I've already done a lot of stuff, and I really need to kind of reflect on, like, oh, what are some of the skills that I really developed during my engagement, during my involvement, and what can I put on my resume, and how can I really sell that to an employer after I graduate here? And then the last one, I am learning a lot more about teamwork and leadership than I realized by being an athlete. It was helpful to take time to talk about it. It's kind of similar to the last one, is that your student's gonna have a lot of involvement opportunities, and maybe they're learning skills that they are not even realizing they're learning. Hopefully the Bentley Plus advisor that they're working with can kind of help connect those dots for the student and kind of really help them set themselves up for success after they graduate.
So this is a great time to just make a quick nod to the information that your students have had access to through the online orientation program. There is Bentley Plus information in there. I know we had a question come in about when students will hear if they have signed up. So it's great to hear that your students are already aware and are signing up for this program. In there, there's more information about what each of the 11 competencies are, how they fit into the program, how students will be able to select those competencies 2 to 3 a year to focus on as an active participant. You will be hearing more about this, or the students will, during the orientation program, and then this program will kick off right at the start of the year for those students. So if there are other questions, by all means, feel free to put those in the chat, or you can reach out to us later and we can connect you with the folks who are running the program. But we have over 30 staff in the Division of Student Affairs that are so excited to step into this advising role with students and be able to connect one-on-one or in small groups with student leaders about what they're interested in getting out of all of these leadership and engagement experiences that they're having. The other thing that I would love to just point out is that everything Riley and I have talked through today, there is some version of that your students will experience during orientation. So the new student programs team has been so intentional about creating, in a way, smaller or microcosm events of some of these big traditions, so students can really start to get a sense in their new student orientation program what some of these things they can look forward to are, building that excitement, building that anticipation, learning about the spaces, learning about the traditions. So the students and the staff have put in so much work to really build that connection between the orientation program, the online orientation program, into what that student life is for its students as an experience once they're into the full semester. So we're really excited to be able to pick up where they leave off in SP&E and, you know, really worked collaboratively and together to make sure that our first year students are getting engaged and really able to attend events and have a wonderful experience in their first semester on campus. The last thing that I'll mention too is just that I saw another question in the chat about what if students will have access to this presentation. So certainly, again, this is being recorded, it will be made available, but all of this content will be covered and made available to students during, it has been in the online orientation program, but then also during the orientation program itself. So the first year students and new students coming to our community will have access to various presentations, some with deeper dive information even than what we are sharing today. So very excited that they will be able to access this. But certainly, again, this will be recorded and is something that can be shared once that is posted up on the YouTube channel for the new student programs team. And at that point, we can really move over. If there are any other questions, please feel free to pop those in the Q&A and we can answer those. Those could be for the students, those could be for the new student programs team, certainly for Riley and I, but happy to answer any other questions that folks might have this evening. Maybe with all our powers combined, we answered all the questions that were out there. But we're certainly happy to stay on for a little bit if any questions do come up. And BL, I'm happy to, if you wanted to say anything else or share anything else on behalf of the program, certainly as well.
Yeah, thank you so much to Riley and Nicole for joining us. It's always so much fun to be able to hear about not just what the students are going to experience in orientation, but then how that really translates to life far beyond their few days in orientation. It really is such a wonderful opportunity for our students to make the most, not only in the classroom, is that we have been connecting with your students around a few pieces as we prepare for the new student orientation program. So one of those pieces is our pre-orientation self-guided learning modules. So if your student has shared anything with you about that, please encourage them to complete those learning modules by August 25th. And then the other piece is we recognize that students are getting excited and ready to join us on campus, but we wanted to make sure that they had the opportunity to connect with their orientation leader and orientation group members prior to arrival. So we are hosting a virtual orientation group meet and greet on August 29th. So if your student is able to join us, we will be sending out the Zoom links to them so that they have the opportunity to meet their group. But thought it would be a nice way to have some familiar faces as they're joining us on campus. And then once they get there, goodness, there's so much that they'll be doing. It will be busy nonstop from that Thursday all the way through the end of the day on Sunday. And then we'll have some optional activities on the Monday. We want to provide some downtime for them as well, as we recognize that they'll be starting classes on that Tuesday. So lots to look forward to. We're really excited, but if you don't mind sharing some of those reminders, it would be a great help.
Oh, go ahead, BL.
I was going to say there's one question in there about Bentley Plus, and the answer is yes. So any student, whether they are current or they are a new student to Bentley, can go ahead to the Bentley Plus website and sign up. There'll also be information at the start of the semester. So if students are not 100% sure on the program just yet, that's okay. We'll have information at orientation and then also within the first few weeks to give students the opportunity to sign up for that.
For the, there's a question, and I believe it says how are advisors assigned. I'm assuming this is specific to Bentley Plus advisors. So advisors are assigned as an advisor. What we do is we sign up for time slots that were available, and those go into the CampusGroups app that you saw that Riley referenced and walked us through earlier. So then what students are able to do when they're part of the program is sign up during an advising time slot that works best for them. They will be able to see who those advisors are. So students do have relationships with staff and they're interested in working with a specific staff member, they can see that information. But it also allows the student to get a time that's going to be the most effective for them. And all the advisors are trained consistently with the same information and will have the same expertise. So it does really preference and prioritize the student experience in that. And that is all run through CampusGroups. It's a great question. Thank you.
I wanted to throw it out to our student coordinators. They've been working their entire summer and even their spring to prepare for this upcoming training with their fellow orientation team members, but then also with our orientation program. So just wanted to throw it out to you all if there's any advice or any quick tips that you wanted to share with family members as they are, you know, chatting with their students prior to coming here to Bentley.
Kick things off. I know in our August newsletter to the families, we had a little section called Advice from Families for Families, where we got some advice from different family members of upperclassmen students on like their experience and advice they had to offer to families as their student transitioned into the Bentley experience. And I think from a student perspective, thinking about what my parents did to support me as I transitioned was kind of support me in being okay with being uncomfortable at first, and then also supporting me in trying new things and connecting with me in ways that I was comfortable. So sending like a text at night to see how my day was going, or giving me a call during orientation at night just to like check in, see how things were going, but also kind of give me space to like navigate it on my own a little bit at first, but also me knowing that they were there the whole time if I ever needed anything, or even if my roommate needed anything. So I think that was the major thing thinking about when I first transitioned to Bentley, is like feeling that support, but also feeling it at a little bit of a distance.
Yeah, I would say, I think there's mainly families on here, but I would say like as far as advice for students, it would just be like encouraging your students to like get out there and try new things. Like for me, like you never know where you're gonna end up meeting your best friend. It could come from like the randomest place and it could take a long time, or it could be immediate, but it's just a matter of trying new things and getting out there and being yourself and being open to new experiences. So I think that would probably be my biggest advice.
Mine would be, and it comes from my mom, is don't feel bad if it feels like your kids are taking you for granted or ignoring your texts. Your kids are really, really busy, and I guarantee it might take a month or 2 months or semester, but they'll come around and start to really appreciate the support that you give your student throughout the year. Just be patient with us.
I love that. I think those are all wonderful bits of advice. And it looks like we might have answered all of our questions. But what I did want to just offer up is if there are any other questions that come up between now and the start of orientation, or even after your student starts, please feel free to reach out to us at orientation@bentley.edu. The student programs and engagement team can be reached at, is it GA_ or just SPNE? All right, perfect. So GA_SPNE@bentley.edu. Please feel free to reach out to us. If it's not directly connected to our office or department, we are happy to connect you with one of our colleagues or other areas. We want to make sure that you can stay connected. And as Aiden said, even if your student's not reaching back out to you, they're doing some really great things. So if you need us to share some information back with you, please feel free to reach out. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was so lovely to be able to spend this time with you all. As we mentioned, this summer and past years. So thank you all so much, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you all soon.